Hey guys, I want to have an honest conversation with you about my 9-week medical leave because I kind of lied to you, but I did it with a purpose, and we're going to talk about why I did it, what actually happened over my medical leave, like why I went, which I know before anyone says, like, you don't owe us any information on your medical history, blah, blah, blah. I get that, and I agree that no one ever owes that information to anyone. I want to share it because I wish I had known some of this stuff before. I wish that I had seen it normalized. And I don't know, I like being open and upfront and honest with you guys. Probably also because I'm autistic and I literally don't know how to hold back any of myself from you guys. But yeah, I hope it helps some people. We're also going to talk a bit about my business and I had to close it down for 9 weeks. So what happened, how it's going, and yeah, we'll go through all of it. Now, we're going to have some trigger warnings. I don't want this video to be a million years long, so I am going to be doing more overview style stuff, but I am going to mention some things that can be triggers for people, and I really want you to protect your mental health. And if any of these things would be a challenge for you, if you're not in a space mentally, physically, whatever, if you're not safe to hear about this stuff, please do not watch this video just for the tea or whatever. It is not enough tea to get, and it's not interesting enough, in my opinion, to harm yourself for. I don't think it's worth it. So please turn off the video, go watch some Bob's Burgers, go treat yourself to a coffee. My sister got me one this morning. Thank you to her. Do something for yourself, okay? Don't watch this video to give me views. I'm fine without them, honestly. So yeah, please take care of yourself. Now, specific trigger warnings are going to be for mental and physical health. We're going to talk chronic pain, chronic illness. We're going to talk a bit about some new diagnoses I have. We're also going to talk about suicide and self-harm. Not in depth and will not be graphic. I don't think anyone needs that. But just know that it will come up. And we are going to talk about a mental hospital because too long don't read. I spent my 30th birthday in essentially a mental hospital. So yeah, let's get into it. I spent 9 weeks in it's like a mental health rehab, I guess, which I thought was a thing that celebrities made up to get a nose job or whatever. I didn't think it was a real thing. But it is, it turns out. So it turns out that you can go to a rehab specifically for mental health. It's basically called an inpatient program. It's a place called Homewood in Guelph in Ontario. And one of the reasons I didn't tell you guys about it was largely because I was there for 9 weeks and couldn't leave. And I didn't feel very safe sharing my specific location where I was going to be during that time. That just didn't feel great to me. But I won't lie. There was some internalized, I don't know what the right term is. I don't think it's ableism. I'm not sure. Whatever the term would be. For judgment. I was worried people would judge me for needing to go there. I think I also worried on the other side of it that I wasn't bad enough to need to go. But for the last year, things have not been good. And I get on here and I talk about this a lot where I'm things are not good. And then they get a little bit better, but I don't think they're actually getting better. I think what's been happening for the last little while is that I regulate just enough that I can get back to masking and pretending everything's okay. And it's not. I, in the last year, was really isolated where I was living just outside of Toronto. I kept saying just outside of Toronto. It's actually up in Muskoka, which is gorgeous. And I've always wanted to live in Muskoka. And I was living my dream life, in Muskoka with my beautiful dog, with this amazing business that I love. And I wasn't happy. I got put on suicide watch again, which has happened multiple times. I wouldn't eat unless people forced me to. I was self-harming and I had to call suicide hotlines and things like that. And I'm very fortunate to have friends and family who care about me and were really worried. So it was actually recommended to me to go to this program, and I'm really glad I did. So I will say I am not better. I'm better than I was, but I'm not healed. You know what I mean? And I guess I kind of hoped I think we all selfishly hope that we will be pretty quickly. But that's not what happens. I will say, though, it was a really hard experience, but worth it. Theo and I were there together. He massively got me through it, and he was the most popular being at Homewood by far. He had a full fan club and like was so happy. I think he's quite pissed now that he doesn't have like tons of people like coming up to him constantly on walks to be like, Theo, like whatever. Like now he's like, where are my fans? Like, what's happening? But yeah, while I was there, I was in this program that was for like integrated mood, anxiety disorders, and depression disorders. It also had a concurrent thing for like people who have addictions. I don't, so I wasn't in that part of it, but I was with all the people. If anyone in your life is considering going to Homewood, if you're considering, send me a message. I'm very happy to chat, but this video is not going to be like a Homewood review. And also I want to clarify that anytime I ever talk about Homewood, now, in the future, whatever, number one, I'm going to change up the terms that I use because we all did when we were there. Like we had like mental hospital, mental health rehab, like sometimes we would say psych ward. It's not really a psych ward. But that's terminology that we were all using there. And sometimes I do say something like psych ward lightheartedly. And I'm trying to be careful not to do that because we just had very dark humor there. But my point was going to be, when you go to a place like this, it's kind of like AA or something where like you're kind of like cone of silence. Like you are not revealing other people who are there and you are not revealing anything about them. I'm going to do the same for staff as well. I'm not going to name any staff just in case. But I am very happy to talk more specifically about elements of it. And if you have any like questions or worries. So I liked it was inpatient, which means that you have to stay there. Like you cannot leave the property, you cannot leave the premises. If you do, you're just like opting out. It's not like a psych ward where you're like locked in. But it was group therapy. We did CBT and DBT therapies. I did something called pain reprocessing therapy, which I'm going to do a separate video on in more depth because so helpful for my chronic pain. Didn't solve it, but it made it a lot better. And a lot of it's about like the neural pathways in your brain. And it doesn't, typically when someone says pain is in your head, it like hurts your heart a bit. This is not that, but it is partially about your brain. We also did some stuff around, like I worked with an OT, which is an occupational therapist. So I learned about a sensory diet and taking care of my senses. I'm going to do another video on that too, because like, I'm really frustrated that it took going to this place for me to learn this information, because I think everyone needs to know it. And like those two processes especially have been life-changing for me. And like, I can do so much more because of them. Again, I'm not perfectly healed, but like, oh my God, I'm better. So if you have any sensory issues, I really recommend seeking out an occupational therapist because they can also help you like design your house to help you. But beyond that, I was there. I did something called RTMS, which is like a magnet on your head. I don't really know if that helped as much as med changes. Like everything is happening at a similar time. But I will say that like what really helped was seeing a psychiatrist and doing formal diagnoses to like start from scratch. We went through like my childhood as best I remember. My mom was called to like go through it all because I don't remember a lot. And I have collected so many fucking letters of the alphabet. I'm already a part of like the queer alphabet mafia. And I feel like I'm like now a part of like the DSM alphabet mafia to the point where I think I have every letter of the alphabet. So because I like to be upfront and honest about all these things, again, I know that I do not owe anyone a diagnosis and you never have to tell anyone your diagnoses. I am choosing to right now. And I probably will talk about them more in future because these have been really big for me. So anxiety, depression, I knew that. Generalized anxiety disorder and major depressive. Didn't know the type of depression, so that was cool to know. We got rid of panic disorder. So nice to lose one. ADHD and autism were like heavily confirmed. CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, which is essentially like you didn't just have one traumatic moment, it's a series of things. And it's unfortunately really common for people with ADHD because the world is traumatic for us and we had to do so much to get through stuff. I unfortunately have other traumas in there as well, but the ADHD stuff amplifies it. And then this one was really interesting to me, OCD. And I've always thought of OCD as something that's like about cleaning, or like, oh, you need to like lock things 100 times. And a long time ago, I had someone suggest that I might have OCD, and then they decided it was like OCD tendencies. But yeah, it turns out I have quite significant OCD because there's different types. So there's like medical anxiety ones. One of the big ones that I have, and this is kind of what I want to talk about for a minute, because it's the thing that I think has changed me the most, is, I don't remember the exact name of it, to be honest, but it's a type of OCD where you have like kind of intrusive thoughts, but the intrusive thought is that you're awful. Like you are like secretly evil, basically, which I have kind of believed my whole life. And I mean, some of that came from like kids with ADHD are, I think just ADHD actually, the stat says it's like are criticized or corrected 47 times more than their peers. Like you are constantly corrected because you don't understand and you can't exist in the other parameters everyone else is fine with. So like I kind of knew that, I guess. And so I kind of thought that like, okay, I'm horrible because like I struggle to like pay attention in conversations and whatever. But I've still had that thought in my head a lot, and it makes it really hard to appreciate things. Like anytime I do something like, recently I've been volunteering and I'm gonna do some videos on like what I've done for this. We're gonna do some case studies. It's cool. But I've been volunteering with a puppy rescue, and I've been redoing their website, their SEO, getting stuff going. And then I get to play with some puppies, which is pretty freaking cool. And like if someone else did that, I'd be like, oh, that's a nice thing to do. But for me, I'm like, no, I'm faking it. I don't think I'm being nice. I'm like manipulating people into thinking I'm nice because I'm actually secretly this horrible person. And it's the same with my intelligence. I'm like, no, I'm not really smart. It's just like I've been faking it really well or whatever. And so I'm not explaining it very well because like I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, any of those things. And I've only just started learning about it for myself. But that's been like something I've internalized for a really long time, that like I have always thought that I'm not good and not deserving. And I think when I got the ADHD diagnoses, I thought that like that would fix it a bit. And even like going on ADHD meds, because like I'll talk about meds in a minute as well, but like I thought it would fix that, and it didn't, because it doesn't come from that. Like it's this thing like deep rooted in my brain, and it's made it really hard to appreciate anything and to feel worthy of anything that I have. And like you guys know that like I say all the time that like I feel so lucky. I don't really understand how this has happened, and that like I'm just me, and like it's not, I don't know, I'm not that smart, I'm not special, whatever. Only special in terms of like I've got a lot of DSM things now. But yeah, it's made it really hard to see anything that I do as an actual success, to see anything that I do as kind or whatever. And so getting the diagnoses helped with that, to understand where that's coming from. But the thing that like I actually think was most powerful about Homewood was the other people, like the patients especially. Sometimes like the staff as well, but like they're paid to help you. Whereas like I think so. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I'm not doing any cuts of this video, so we're just going with what's happening, because I've struggled to start this. I started it once, my camera died partway through, and then I've had a lot of executive dysfunction trying to like keep going through it. But I just want to like do it. But yeah, it was the people by far, because you do group therapy, so you're with this like cohort of like 7 to 9 people that you are like pouring your heart out to, which takes a lot of trust and is really hard. And our group was very open, which sometimes was a little bit much. It's why I'm very careful with trigger warnings. Some people were not, and that was hard for me, but I think it was good to confront things. But the first thing is that like you realize how many people feel just as lost and feel just as like are struggling with the same things. And even like at the heart of it, I feel like everyone's thing is just that like they want to be loved and they feel like they can't be. and that they feel emotions so strongly in a way that like other people don't get. And I've said that my whole life. I've always been like, I feel things really intensely. Like if I feel guilt or shame, I throw up. Like it's like immediate. Whereas like for other people that I've seen anyway, a lot of them can just get on with it. And like even for like little guilt or shame things, like doesn't have to be major things that many of us would like feel quite intensely. But yeah, so like bonding with people over that. And at Homewood, like I think a lot of my self-worth has come from external things for a long time. It's one of the reasons I stopped sharing income reports, because I was getting like addicted to the dopamine of your guys' response to it. And then I kind of gamified it where I'm like, I have to do more to get that dopamine rush from like people congratulating me. And income with blogging and with online course sales and stuff, like it's typically not linear all year and year on year. But like I had to have it be. So I would work so fucking hard and then just like lost myself in it. But then also a lot of the friends that I made, I lost some friends where I had boundaries they couldn't respect, or I didn't believe in some business practices. But also sometimes I just thought they were actually a friend and they weren't. They were just like a work person. But then I started making real friends, but they all kind of came from work scenarios because that was all I was doing for the last few years. And so I think some part of that like anxious bit of my brain, again, that OCD like anxiety, was telling me like, okay, they're only here because of work or because of XYZ or whatever. Not because they were trying to like get clout off of me, but that was the reason that they liked me, I guess. Or I don't know. You can't really explain it when it's just in your head. But so being there and having people like who didn't know anything about me, obviously I had Thea, which made people like approach me more for sure at the start, I think. And I think forced me to be more social than I would have been early on. But yeah, people that just saw you as a person. Like we didn't talk about income. Most people didn't talk about jobs. Like I still don't know what most people do. I think 2 people knew about Sheena's SEO by the time I left. And I talked a little bit about the travel writing very briefly, just because we would talk about travel and they were like, how the fuck have you been to so many places? But I never told them the name of the site or anything. So yeah, you had people just see you and you just got to like exist. And it really helped me feel like more confident in myself as a person and helped me develop a lot of self-worth that like I have value outside of my work. And I don't think I felt that in a long time. And especially since my Baba passed. I also did grief counseling for that, but still every time I mention her, I'll start crying. But she really saw me, and she was one of the few people that did, where I knew for sure that income and work didn't matter. Like she didn't care how much I ever made, if business was good or bad. I mean, even when it was good, she was like, so law school, because like she just didn't understand any of this, which is fair. Most people don't understand what this job is. But yeah, having other people see me and see my value and tell me, like that was a lot. That was really amazing. Having people like clearly want to spend time with me, having people like that I could just be myself with. And I tried really hard not to mask while I was there. So also getting to be like myself, like having panic attacks in hallways, not super fun, but happened. Yeah, when I had a med change that was really bad, and I was just like in like the worst mood for a few days, and grumpy as fuck, and like people still liked me and were my friends or interacted with me, and it was okay, and that was wild to me. And then at the end, we all did it's kind of like, it felt like dorms a bit. Like I actually really liked the environment of your friends are 2 doors down from you and you kind of know their schedule. Like I love co-living like that. It's so nice. But we would write cards for everyone leaving. And my group therapy session, a bunch of them wrote individual cards to us as well. And having physical having people write about you to you, especially physically, I think online it's easier for me to dismiss, and as well, like, because I know you guys say such nice things about me, and I really appreciate that. I really love it. But it's hard when it's virtual because I can just jump past it. And when that, like, my brain is doing that anxious spiral and, like, I can't internalize or feel it. With this, it's like I'd confronted that, I'd gone through all that, and I knew that they had really seen the messy middle of Nina. And for them to, like, say stuff like, I'm compassionate and caring and intelligent and funny and, like, these things that I've always wanted to be, like, these things that I've always thought are, like, the best terms to have someone describe me, and ways that I would describe my Baba, was amazing. And, like, since I've been home, it's been hard, I won't lie. Homewood was really quiet, and you could stim very openly. Even now, like, I have a little fidget. I got at the dollar store. You're probably going to notice me with more fidgets in different videos and stuff. I'm trying to find ones that are a bit quieter. If you have any recommendations, send them to me. I have one of those infinity cubes, and I love it, but it's quite clacky, and I don't want every video I do to have, like, the clacky noise. So yeah, send me things that you guys like, and I'll try some out. Maybe I'll do some reviews for you guys of them after if you want. But yeah, it's been hard being back. I should have thought to put tissues over here, but I didn't. It's been hard being back. I moved to the city, so moved house while at Homewood, which was a lot. Got to my new place. My mom had set it all up, which is amazing. But like this is the couch that we had when I was a kid that my family dog Bronte, a beagle, that favorite dog ever. She was awful. She was such a bitch, but, like, still my favorite. This is, like, her sofa. So it is, like, 25, 30 years old. So it's not the best. This pattern isn't very me, but, like, I appreciate having it. But I haven't made this place, like, a home yet. I really want to. So I got back to this, like, new place. It's very loud to be back out, and there's, like, cars and people all the time. And with work, like, I've been struggling, honestly. I thought I'd get back and just be, like, ready to go, because I love this. Well, actually, that's not true. The last 2 weeks at Homewood, because, like, I wasn't allowed to work while I was there. You could have your phone, you could, like, message people. I could have technically worked, but you're doing, like, hours of therapy a day. We did some ceramics, we did, like, rec therapy as well, and the grounds are gorgeous, like, amazing walking for Theo. Everyone there's really into pickleball. I'll be honest, I didn't try it. Just didn't appeal to me, but there were tournaments and stuff. And we did horticulture, and I'm really into horticulture. It's where I made this little paw print of Theo, which I know doesn't look like it's horticulture related, but, like, everyone else pressed flowers, I had Theo, so I made paw print. But now I have a bunch of plants too that are probably going to die because I don't know how to take care of plants. But I love, like, the dirt of it and everything. That wasn't my point. Was my point. Oh, so, like, yeah, like, I was there, and I was actually really worried I was going to close down the entirety of She Knows SEO and all of my businesses when I got out of Homewood, because I really enjoyed being offline and, like, not being on socials, not having a million people to deal with all the time. Like, I love you guys, but, like, notifications are a lot for me. More so emails for some reason. I don't really know why. And I think, like, right before I went to Homewood, I was trying to close down this whole business to be ready for me not to be here. And that meant I overdid it, first of all. Like, when I look at the amount of stuff I created, I'm like, holy crap. And I was moving out of a house at that time. I'm like, what was I on? Oh my God, I was even on ADHD meds. So, like, what the hell? Like, how was I focused on that? But I think that, like, anxiety of getting everything done in time and worrying about you guys being supported, especially my PPTB students, and, like, not wanting people to not even just be upset with me, but, like, I just wanted to make sure everyone was taken care of and that everyone could do what they needed to do. And so that stress, I think, was what I was holding on to, where I was like, oh no, like, what if that is what work is? And, like, I don't want that feeling. It's not. I still love this job. I still love working. So that's really good. But yeah, I was really fucking nervous about that. And it made it more stressful to start being back. I've tried to ease into it. I'm having a lot of executive dysfunction where I just like get frozen essentially, like can't do stuff, or I'm avoiding things. So it's slower than I wanted it to be. And I'm still really overwhelmed, and I'm working on that. And it's all fun. And that's why I get frustrated when I'm just like, I want like this video. I've wanted to record this video for 2 weeks. And every time I would like try to be like, okay, today is the day I'm going to record the video, I would just like get stuck in my chair for 4 hours, like doing nothing. I would find random busy, like I'm just so ridiculous to me where I'm like, I want to do this thing. And it wasn't just work stuff, like that'll happen with dinner, walking Theo, whatever. And apparently it's part of the anxiety. And like one new thing that got added to like, it's not a diagnosis, but it's like a thing that I go through is I heavily disassociate, which like I knew physically because like I don't really feel my legs. Which is one of the reasons Theo bark alerts, because I can't feel him like nudging my leg. But I didn't know that I mentally disassociate because I didn't know what that was. Turns out I do it a lot. And it's one of the reasons why I never remember what I say, which isn't super helpful. ADHD is the other reason. And that whole like, I don't really understand thinking before you speak. I just talk. And then I'm like, okay, I've said it. And then it's like out of my brain. I don't know. So I've got issues. But yeah, so I was like very nervous coming back. My team crushed it though. And like before I left, they knew that this was going to happen potentially as early as like April, essentially. I was pretty sure I was going to need to go somewhere. There were wait lists, things like that. You had to like figure everything else out. Or I guess May. No, it was more May. I think I made the choice end of April, but it was like May that this was potentially going to happen. And I thought it'd be outpatient at first, so we were figuring it out. And then HomeWide tells you like you might get 2 weeks notice to go. And initially they kind of told me it would be like July. So we were prepping for me to be gone way earlier. And then they ended up giving me 6 weeks notice. And I spent the first 2 weeks just crashing out, not doing anything. But yeah, my team crushed it. I made tons of SOPs because I'd hired Stephanie as a new VA. It was amazing, but brand new. So I was like recording every single thing I did. Also made documents of every single thing she could potentially do while I was gone. The like must-dos, maybes, blah, blah, blah. Because I really wanted to make sure everyone was still getting paid properly and had things to do. Then Alex, my OBM, who used to be my old VA, but has been promoted. We were like setting up systems and she was overseeing stuff. We set up like payment systems and everything. Caleb, who I like do like the SEO services with and was taking over PPTB for me, had to set all that up and like the rules and what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And then I prepped content for my Facebook group, for YouTube, and for my newsletters all the way till the end of October. At the beginning of August, I believe. I did an in-depth case study video. They're supposed to be like 15 minutes. A lot of them are like 40 minutes to an hour on different things for PPTB. I had stuff like the behind the scenes of like every figure, every email from my 150K launch and stuff like that. We did like an in-depth review of Facebook clicks to like see if they impacted SEO, stuff like that. I brought in a guest expert basically every week to do audits of different things while I was out. I also had, I created like a mini podcast essentially of like little like Nina voice notes, like bestie voice notes, like I send to friends, which like I really love doing. I kind of want to turn into something for you guys. They're all about like my brain. Just like, it's like you're literally just voice noting me as I walk Theo and like, I just kind of talk about things, and business stuff, SEO stuff, life stuff, everything. And it was really fun to do. And they're shorter. They're supposed to be 3 minutes. Most are like 10. But yeah, so like I did all of that somehow. And I was managing like meetings. I recorded a podcast right before I left. I recorded a summit right before I left. Like a lot of stuff happened. So that all got prepped. They maintained everything. And we consistently still had really solid sales while I was gone. Now, she knows SEO, this site, a lot of stuff is out of date. So I had started working on like redoing it and didn't finish it. So I had taken some of the stuff down from the site for sales directions and stuff. And we turned off all funnels and all bumps and stuff. I think they did that like a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and I still haven't turned most of them back on. Like if you see a bump, it was added in panic when I realized I hadn't done that. But like the strategy behind a lot of the Thrivecart tech I haven't had for a bit. And my freebies I don't love, so I turned some of them off. But we still consistently got over 300 new subscribers a month to the email list. We had people joining the Facebook group. We hit over 3,000 people on Instagram, over 6,000 people here on YouTube, and over 4,000 people in my Facebook group. So growth of a few hundred kind of across the board, I think across all those things. Then, and I wasn't posting on Instagram while I was gone, so that one was a surprise. We consistently made well over 15K a month just on sales of products and offers. But I will say in October, things started to slow down a lot. So October went down just under 10K. And these are just for like sales of my courses. Like I'm not including affiliates. I'm not including minimal ad revenue because I turned ads off on most of my sites at this point. And sponsorships and stuff I had paused while I was gone. So like those are usually more helpful, I'd say. But the affiliate revenue, I'll be honest with you guys, I just have not gotten to look at yet. But yeah, the reason that the sales kept rolling in was largely the systems I do have set up, and making sure that like, even though they're kind of like half-assed, they're still directing people to the right places. And PPTV was closed during that time. I should make that clear as well. So they were not PPTV sales. So that was really great. Like to see that my business can still operate and keep running was good. I actually think it was like 30K, just over 15K, and then like 8 or 9K, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I think, this was something that upset me about Homewood. Just to backtrack a little bit, is that it is very expensive to go to if you don't have insurance. I don't have insurance. I didn't know that would have been an option because I might have gotten insurance if I could have. I also didn't know that they had OHIP options, which is like the free healthcare in Ontario. So it's free then. I paid over $30,000 to be there. To be fair, Canadian. Oh no, that $30,000 was when I converted to Canadian. So it was like 25,000, I think, that first month. And I don't usually share income figures with you guys. I don't intend to share a ton of income with you guys. Like going forward, as I told you, dopamine, everything, health, safety, that became a problem when I was in Victoria. But I was like kind of shocked at how well everything ran kind of without me. A little bit sad, I'll be honest. I kind of was like ready for things to be like barely scraping by. And like we've already hit over my income of last year. I think we were like 50K shy of it in July when I was leaving. So like I felt fine with the income the business has made. But I was expecting it to be worse when I was gone, and I was surprised that it wasn't. But yeah, that is something that I'd also realized with Homewood and everything, is that like money just, I say this a lot where I'm always like, oh, like I didn't think I'd ever make money, and then I made money and whatever. This video is getting long. I'm sorry guys, but it is what it is. I'm long-winded, but I always say, I'm like, yeah, I never expected to make money. It's cool that I make money now, blah, blah, blah. Money just like doesn't mean that much to me, I've realized. Like, and I'm very like lucky to be able to say that. I've hit savings goals I never thought I would hit. I am very comfortable financially at this point in a way that I never expected. But yeah, money doesn't make me feel happy. It doesn't bring me safety. It doesn't like that safety that I always thought it would, where I'm like, oh, if I just make this much, if I just had this much saved, then like I'll feel better or whatever. And it's like, no, it turns out I have like deep psychological trauma I need to work on, which is like frustrating to leave Homewood and still have to deal with more stuff physically, more stuff mentally. But yeah, I'm working on it. I am working on being authentically myself and open about this stuff because I do think it's important. I had never met someone who was openly autistic before I like kind of like got my diagnoses, essentially, especially in the business world. I think now I'm like seeing more people and seeing people say it, but I just hadn't recognized it before. ADHD a little bit more, so I started to see, but yeah, I want to be myself. I want you guys to see that like move truly didn't bring me happiness because I had like my biggest month ever and still wasn't like, still very much suicidal and not doing well. I think also that like people like me, we can do well online and then be a disaster in our daily life. And for me, I was hiding in work a lot. So like some things are definitely, I'm working on changing, delegating more to my team, making sure that like I take time for me and that I like use my energy not to just work. Because like pre-Homewood, I had maybe an hour to 2 a day, a few days a week, not even every day, that I could get anything done. So I would just like crank whatever I could out. But like that included the time that I had to cook, the time that I had to walk Theo, like all of those things I had to try and get done. And then I just like crashed and wasn't doing well. And now I've gotten like more energy and strength back, but I still have days like that. And I still, don't have as many hours in a day as some other people do. And I hate whenever those like tech bro influencers are like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And I'm like, no, we fucking don't. Like if you have kids, those 24 hours don't belong to you. If you have a puppy, those 24 hours don't belong to you. If you have any sort of chronic illness or mental health issue, or like if you're literally like 1% off of the baseline, whatever, you don't have the same 24 hours as other people. And you have to work with that. And you still can work with that. And like, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with any of this anymore. I'm not really sure how to end this video, but I wanted to be honest about where I'm at, what's happening with me, what's happening in my brain, the diagnoses that, I want to make changes to be better for me and for you guys as well. I also want you guys to realize that like you can take time off your business and the world does not end. And in fact, almost every single person in my audience, everyone that wrote me anyways, I think I had one person that wrote me that was confused, but then was supportive, but everyone else was supportive. And I'm sure there's some people that were a bit annoyed behind the scenes. I gave them opportunities to be annoyed to my face and I didn't get any of that, which is kind of nice. But the people in your audience that support you will support you if you take the time that you need for yourself, if you move a little bit slower, if you do whatever. And I still really struggle with that because I hate when everyone's like, you're doing great, you're like doing all the right things, or like, you just need to like take it easy. And I'm like, I'm taking it easy and like my brain wants to do things and I enjoy things, like just let me do stuff. So I get the frustration, but like I do think for those of us that are just like going, and especially if you're trying to like get your business up, I think much like other people, I got my business growing like that 6 months to 50K that I did to get into Mediavine. That I don't think was the most sustainable way I could have done it, especially when I was working other jobs and dealing with a puppy and dealing with my own health issues. I put a lot of myself aside for that. And I just don't think you should have to do that to grow a business. Someone that I really love the way she's grown her business is Mariah Magazine, because she has not sacrificed herself to grow it. And that means that maybe it took a little bit more time to do certain things. But like, I don't know, I just think that like people that, you always see the people that are like, I like burnt out making my business. And I'm like, okay, then like why are you telling people to do it the same way? It's why I always like kind of course correct. Like PPTV isn't the same as the SEO roadmap, because I don't recommend the roadmap method anymore, where you don't spend that much time with friends and family and do things. The PPTV method is how I grow stuff now, where I am trying to prioritize that more. And even when I didn't have time to prioritize that, I had to rest and I had to like deal with my body fighting me. It's something that works more with your life, not takes over your life. So I didn't mean this to be like a sales pitch for PPTV. It's not. This is just me. And I was like really fucking nervous to spend my 30th birthday in a mental hospital and to be somewhere in such an uncomfortable environment. Oh, I said I talk about meds. I got on ADHD meds, got new anxiety meds. It also helped with fibro. I didn't know there are meds that do that. And it has helped with some of my pain, not the majority of my pain, annoyingly. But that plus Advil helps with a lot of the pain and the pain reprocessing therapy. We still don't know what the fuck is wrong with me pain-wise, so we're still working on the rest of it. Turns out I have tons of allergies, so specialized allergy meds. I have ADHD meds now, I think I said, and I take muscle relaxant. So I have like a whole like pharmacy I have to take now all the freaking time, which is very frustrating. And I still have to be careful about like diet and exactly how I exercise. And it's frustrating, but like it's still better than it was. And so I'm glad for that. And the main thing I'm glad about is that I feel like I understand that I am worthy as a person outside of work, but also that the way my brain works is pretty freaking cool, and that like I do have a pretty amazing brain, and that I can help people. Oh, this is how I wanted to end the video. I wanted to talk last thing about like what my main priority is, and kind of like a epiphany I had at my Baba's funeral. Well, it was actually funeral, and then again in the Russian tradition, we do like a 6 month. You do like there's stages of it, but at the 6 month, you like everyone goes to the gravesite and you do like another kind of celebration of life. We did that. She already had her tombstone anyway, because she had it from when my Ziet passed, and it's so funny to me because like someone's such a baller. He was an engineer, so he had like the engineering whatever, and she was like, well, that gets an extra line on the the tombstone, and she was like, I don't want his section to be longer than mine. So she just like added shit to her side, and then she chose photos for it, and she said she really liked the way that she looked and her hair looked in this specific photo from when my mom and dad got married, who had a very contentious divorce. And this happened after the divorce. She was still like, no, it's a great photo of me, even though we had other professional photos taken at different times. So she had options. She was like, no, it's going to be that one. It's just like, oh, she just like lived and did her own thing. But the thing that I kind of learned from the funeral, it's just like what everyone remembered wasn't her work, wasn't her income, even like kind of wasn't her generosity in terms of money. It was her generosity in terms of time and for community building and how much she cared and how big she loved. And it really like reminded me that that's what matters to me. Like that's what I want, is I want a legacy like hers, where it's about helping people and uplifting people and having that community. And I think Homewood helped me like realize how much I was missing that with the co-living side of things. And I could rant forever about how I think like the modern world is fucked up community. But yeah, it just made me realize like I really think we all need to decenter money and decenter work as your value, because kind of who gives a shit? Like I met the most interesting, fascinating people at Homewood, and I had no fucking clue which money they made or what they do for work. And in fact, some of the people who only talked about that, I was like, I actually don't think you have anything to yourself outside of that. And so I kind of am put off by it. But yeah, I just think we all need to work harder at doing some IRL stuff and like not focusing on the online quite as much. Take time for you as much as you need. And I don't really have a moral at this point. Just I now have OCD as well, and I was doing something to take care of myself, and I hoped it would be a one and done, and it's not. I gotta keep working on myself, but I'm better than I was, and I really hope that I can stay better. But even if I don't, I am gonna try really hard not to mask and not to pretend when I'm not doing well, because I think it makes it harder for other people to understand. And I also think it's, I don't know, I know a lot of you guys look to me and see me as like crushing it all the time or like being so efficient or whatever, and I can be, but I can also like be really struggling in other spaces, and I don't want to ever paint a false picture of stuff that makes you like compare yourself to an Instagram version of me, because like I'm not Instagram aesthetic at all. I'm just a lady trying to get by. I hate that to say that now, like I can't say girl because I'm like an adult. Ugh. But yeah, I'm just me. And as much as I missed you guys, I also didn't miss you that much while I was there. I was quite busy, but also it was really nice not to work for a minute. So yeah, take some time off work too. Okay, bye.